social
He's gonna
media.
auto-tune those cards.
We're going. Stacy, how do you pronounce your last name?
It is Brett.
Okay, so I butchered it. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Much like Bach.
Okay, excellent. Who is Miss Della Webb and why does she care about the wolf?
Miss Della Webb. Miss Della Webb was actually an elderly lady that I knew growing up as a kid. She was one of my very first stops in the morning when I'd leave my house, and she would always give me a gingerbread cookie. That was her thing. Years have passed. Miss Della's gone, but a lot of her memories live on in me. And she's very smart. She was very crafty. She was very moral. And I wanted to write something that showed her loving and showed her craftiness. And so in this book, she has a wolf that invades the woods and comes calling. And so she tries to keep him jumping and out of her home, per se.
Would you like to talk to Stacy about her book?
I'm sorry.
No, you just
Were
go
you
ahead.
filming? I'm off of it.
Oh, no worries.
Sorry.
What do you want for something like this?
Oh, I think the ladies are ringing them up over at these
Here
two
and
tables.
over on the right, we've got two
That's what you
captions.
pay, but $10.
Oh, I believe hardbacks are $1.
That's what my wife said. But we couldn't find a sign. You see it all over the place, 50 cents.
Well, then you got it.
No worries. No worries. We're still going. Stacy, I'd like you to, now you've told me that Miss Della Webb is a real person and not
She
fiction.
was. She's gone.
Not fiction. Tell me about the wolf.
The wolf. Well, much like when I was growing up, the wolves of our day were Three Little Pigs, had a wolf. Red Riding Hood had a wolf. This wolf is just a wolf that maybe he's a silly creature, but he's a silly creature with teeth. He wants to come in and have a meal or make a meal with Miss Della. And what she does is she tells him that she's not home. And she tells him that she's off picking berries or down at the river swimming or off at the beehive collecting money. And anyhow, he runs to go and see if he can find her. And in that, it's the wrong season for all of these things. And he gets swept away in the water, he gets stung by bees, or he comes out of the briar patch with briars in his feet and in his fur. And she just makes it very difficult for him. But at the end, she knows she has to deal with him, and so she's wise. She sets the trap, and he falls right into it. And in that, she gets rid of the wolf.
Tell me about Red Heart Books and your relationship with Red Heart Books. Is this your first publisher?
This is my first publisher.
Is this your first book?
This is my first book, and it is a series, so there are 4 more coming. But this is the first one that's out. Red Heart Books is it's a new publishing company. It's a husband and wife team. They are wonderful, kind, and they are very much oriented in creating all of our authors, all of our illustrators into a community setting. When you go to our site, you meet all of the authors are there. You can see pictures, you can see segments out of books, you can see illustrators and some of their work. So it's very community oriented, very family friendly.
Tell me about your transition from nuclear scientist to children's author.
It wasn't difficult at all.
Okay. Same elements in both?
Very much so. Earth, air, fire, water, pretty much across the board.
And the there's a cosmopolitan author community in Vernonia, and as are skyscrapers. Can you tell me about Vernonia and books?
Vernonia and books. Vernonia is just getting a brand new, I think it is K through 12 school, because theirs flooded. They have a wonderful library, which I'll be going to for a story hour in August or September. And they're a very close community. It's had a couple floods, a few disasters, and everyone pulls together. It's just a really nice little community. And for books and whatnot, I'm just getting started, so I'll let you know as soon as I know more about how everybody interacts.
What do you have in the pipeline for maybe another book?
The next one coming out is Miss Stella Webb and Purdy Hen. Miss Stella Webb comes across a little chicken farm, and there's a poor little chicken off in the corner that everyone picks on and is very sad, and Miss Stella buys her for a dozen gingerbread cookies. Takes her home, gives her a home. She grows, she becomes a great laying chicken, which helps Miss Stella as a baker, and so anyhow the eggs help with the baking. It's a wonderful story and very family-oriented and very encouraging.
Do you use the concept of Miss Stella Webb as a good and evil narrative? Or is it just a storytelling template? What is Miss Stella Webb?
She is the foundation.
Okay.
She's the rock. She holds everything together. With how she is, her intelligence, with her kind heart, and she's very brave. You know, she goes forth and she goes after what she needs to do and take care of. And it'll come out as the books come out. You'll see a little more of that, a little more of that. But in this story, you know, she has to be crafty because she's a little lady. She's by herself. She's a Miss Stella Webb. She never married, and she's got a horse Frank. She has to keep him safe, and so she uses her brain, uses her smarts to outsmart the wolf in the end. We'll have to read the story.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's.
Okay, Rita.
Yes.
Tell me about your books.
Well, all my work has a metaphysical touch, for one thing. Not fantasy, not science fiction, but ordinary life with its unseen aspect that shows itself in auras, for instance. I write everything, poetry, fiction, and nonfiction.
We actually have one right outside to your right.
Thank you.
Am I on?
Yes.
Fiction, nonfiction, poetry for children, for adults. Here for one is a book about just about any kind of subject. Some fun crow poetry, travelogue to Weimar in the former East Germany, so you can see what life was like just 2 years after the wall came down. Critical and historical essays, some fun riddles, something for everybody. My poetry book is strictly poetry, strictly accessible. In other words, not so very subjective that the reader can't get into it. These three are a trilogy about life in Germany in the 1950s, starting in a convent boarding school for girls, and is continued in the next book after graduation and her striving to free herself from her mother's dominance and run her own life. By the third book, she has accomplished that. She goes to start school for a career and ends up married to an ex-American GI in the United States. But throughout, there's this underlying theme of trying to find a book from the past that she had known about a historical character called Dagobert. And at first it's just a thought, remembering it, and eventually it becomes an obsession. And in the end, she does find the book, and she learns something important about herself.
Fantastic. Rita, are these all, what's the organization for the publishing? Do you self-publish? Do you have a publisher?
I self-publish. Now, this one was published by iUniverse.com, and this one was published by another company, Infinity. Then I found out about Lulu.com.
Okay, tell
And
me
I
about that.
published all the others myself. It's a very simple thing. Everything has to be done via the internet. And you do have to do everything yourself. I mean, you can get services like editing or the designing of the cover, but that's going to cost you. as it is, if you could manage it on your own, you publish the whole book and it doesn't cost you a penny until you buy it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
How many do you have to buy at a time?
As many as you want. You can buy one at a time, and then you can buy 500 at a time if you got room for it.
Oh, so they got on-demand publishing.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
impressive.
These three are also available on Kindle.
Excellent. What's been the biggest epiphany you had when it came to self-publishing? What just came to mind as something you never expected?
That I can do the whole thing myself.
Really?
The editing, the designing, not the layout, they do that there. You just send them a Word program, manuscript, and they do the layout. But everything else I've done myself, including cover design, layout. Yeah, and that's, to me, that's very, very gratifying.
What are you working on next?
I have a book in the works, an art book, about trees, not just ordinary trees, but trees that in some way relate, that in some way make you think of human behaviors and attitudes. For instance, trees that are half dead. And you wouldn't believe what all you can find just in your very own neighborhood. Or Selwood, for instance, is a wonderful place I like to go. And I take my camera with me, and then I'll take a picture, and I go home and create a painting, or a picture, a drawing, different sorts. And then it will also have some writing about them, either information about the tree itself, or some fun thing, a poem about an apple tree, lots of different things.
Fantastic.
That's what I'm working on now.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you.
Come on in. Be part of the. Be part of.
Double for interviews.
Excellent. So, Mitch, what's the name of your book?
The book is Managing Research, the Cat Herd's Toolkit, and it's a half email epistolary novel and half textbook on managing research.
Excellent. What inspired you to write it?
Well, I started on it 15 years ago, the year I retired from being director of research for Kaiser. I was at a think tank, the Center for Advanced Study of Behavioral Sciences. And I had two motivations. One is I always wanted to explore the novel form, and the other was I wanted to share my experiences and ideas about managing research. I had run an advanced management training program for research managers, and there was no text, no case material. So it was an attempt to play with the epistolary form of a novel and to bring forward my ideas on managing professionals in a bureaucracy. Each chapter starts with a chapter of the novel that serves as case material with a chapter that follows the chapter on helping managers learn how to manage.
Fantastic. Have you written anything else in book format?
I've got several books I've been the author and co-author of over time. They're mostly scientific and research. I've got about 200 publications of books, papers, and articles over the past 50 years.
What would you consider the one that would be the most recognizable to the public?
Well, probably none of them are recognizable to the general public, but for example, on Amazon there are 5 books that I've either been the author or the co-author of.
Which
They're
one?
essentially trade.
Okay. Which one sells the most on Amazon?
Well, this one's going to be the one that sells the most
Okay.
because it is more oriented toward a more general audience. But I think the one that sells the most is one I did with the National Academy of Sciences on post-deployment health problems of the veterans. And I think that probably sells modestly well. I also have one on scoring health plans, which was a book that led the way for what's going on now with a lot of the health plan scoring things. Many of them were just very early in their field, and the field's taken off since then.
What's the next book?
The next book will be a compilation of the Mitch messages.
Really?
I've saved 6 sessions of them now. 5 sessions, we'll have 6. And I'm going to be using it to point out what life as a legislator is like in Oregon.
Would you back that up and tell us what the Mitch message is?
When I first joined the state legislature, I decided I wasn't going to keep a log, but what I would do is every 2 weeks during session I would send out a message to my constituents that wasn't the usual propaganda message, but was really about my feelings about what it's like in the legislature, what life is like, describing the process, and sharing that. And it's become quite popular. I have about 3,500 people on the mailing list that get it all around the country. So I'm going to, and I've saved it for each of the 5 sessions, and I'll have a 6th session now. So I'm going to build around that, using that material as the basis of it. I realized that I wrote my first article 50 years ago this year. And so I've compiled about 50 articles that I've written over time on the healthcare system and health research, and I'm going to put them together into a sort of retrospective over a half a century on the healthcare system. So I have 2 more.
2 more
getting
coming?
ready. 2 more coming.
Excellent. Well, Mitch, thanks for your time. Thank you for your service.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Thanks for organizing this event. It's kind of fun.
Wonderful. Second. And, Jaime.
Yes.
Tell me, what brought you to the book sale today?
Well, I got 2 invitations. Actually, one was the Facebook post that you posted on us. So thank you for that. And the other one was Karen Scouten, who's out doing a booth for the Democratic Party or voter registration.
Wonderful.
So whenever there's 2 things going on and I have the time, I try to make sure to make it.
Nice. Now, you work at PCC Rock Creek?
I do. I'm a workforce professional
Excellent.
there.
What do you find is lacking in terms of the community? What are you trying to get done? Because you're very active in the community. What are you working towards?
Well, there's got to be more, I guess, political change at the state level.
Okay.
Where people need to forget their ideology and start thinking about what's best for the communities, regarding job creation, regarding public policies that are both safe and educational for the community. And then you get those things done, you'll have a better community, a more responsive community, a community that's more engaged. So that's what I'm working on, how I can advocate best for both, Latinos and non-Latinos as a whole.
Speaking of engagement, what is your engagement? Where are you going in September?
I will be going to North Carolina.
And what are you going to do there?
With 79 fellow Oregonians, and we're going to be pledging our support, the state of Oregon's Democratic support, for President Obama and Vice President Biden for another 4 years.
Now, that was quite of an experience watching you campaign for that spot. Tell me about that exciting nomination convention that was held at PCC Willow Creek.
I think June 2nd, 2012 was going to be a lasting memory, as well the trip to September. But it was exciting to get the support. I knew there was support there, but to see how strong it was, to be elected on the first ballot was just incredible. The fact that my wife and my daughter were there, to see how a Democratic Party works, and the process that we go through, those that are very engaged and very passionate about what we do for the county party and the state party as a whole. But it was just exciting, an exciting process, and it's the first time I've ever been going to a national event where I had to do a little campaigning.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was great.
Wow. What's in the future? What are you going to get done after you come back from North Carolina?
Well, hopefully I come back with more passion, more energy, to carry it the final distance on November 6th, I believe, is the election date, and make sure that we again, it's about changing the legislative leaders in Salem. We need to get rid of that 30-30 split. We need to get it to more progressives in there. The magic number I guess will be 34, but if we can just get a 31-29, that'll work. But let's see if we can shoot for 34-26, and that way we know that we have the votes and the voices and the leaders to really change that counts and makes a difference. So that would be the immediate thing that I want to do when I take it back from North Carolina in September.
Excellent. Well, thank you for your time. I
No
appreciate
problem.
it.
All right, great event here. I wish nothing but the best.
Yeah, absolutely. Y'all wait for him to be done with his video.
Oh, that's fine. Go ahead and pet him. I don't mind.
I saw it just, I think, as you saw it. I saw that it was going to happen.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't like it.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Hi. You pretty baby. Oh, you are, you pretty baby. Oh, am I going to get a pet your belly?
Scratch my
Am I
tummy.
going to get you pet your belly? Oh, you pretty baby. Oh, you are, you pretty baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, you just want somebody to throw your Kong for you, don't you? Oh, you do. Oh, you pretty dog. Hello. You pretty dog. Thank you so much.
Where you going? I know you're hot. Here. House.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. You want to pet him? Come around this side and make sure you don't look at him in the eye and just pet him. You're fine.
Nice. Is that cool?
Did you get a card?
What?
Did you get a card? No, you didn't get one then. There you go. This is who he is. This is what he's all about.
Oh, I so need one of
You
those.
want one? All right.
I do. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now I need to get the autograph.
Yeah, the ball thing.
Well, I was thinking more drool.
Drool, yeah.
But- Can I come over and pet you? Hi, buddy. You want to sniff at me? Not looking you in the eye.
Lots.
Hi.
Boy.
You like a butt scratch? All the doggies like a butt scratch. Ah,
Did they leave it?
good
They
dog.
were going to cancel.
They did. They tried to.
Let's go.
I'm showing up. I'm showing up for you my money, man.
Good
I
dog.
knew you wouldn't let him. I was like, man, he's here. He's 59 years old. Man, he's not.
Lots.
I want to ask him, what does perp taste like?
What's that?
What does perp taste like?
He hasn't had a real life bike yet,
Uh-oh.
so, which is good. It keeps him neutral. Bad habits creates bad habits, huh, boy? Free.
You don't park him in the evidence locker.
Here.
He hangs with you?
Yeah.
Nice.